I'm going to attempt today to show you how to make a drop hinge box, and it's quite a lengthy video, this one, so I've broken it down into 6 parts, and what we're going to make is something like this, and depending what colours you use on the back and everything else. Now these are done in Rexine, but you can do them in whatever colour you like, it makes no difference, it doesn't matter what you do them in. I've just chosen Rexine because it's close to leather, but the actual thing I'm using is leather. I'm using leather in the actual filming parts. It's a piecemeal film, it's not, I haven't made it all at once, it's something I've made up as I'm going along. I hope it's successful. And what we're going to do is we're going to produce a book to place in a box, and this has got a slipcase and a book in it. So what I would need to do is for you to select the book that you require to fit in the box that you're going to make, like that. So you're going to, all we're going to do is, we're not going to make a slipcase. I've already shown you how to make a slipcase. It's quite simple, and what I'm going to do now is to show you how to make the drop hinge box. And the first thing you do, you start off by making a little box with 4 sides and an open top, obviously, so you can place the book in like this. So now you know what we're trying to do, and you've got a good idea. And what you do is you get 2mm card, and you place your book on the card. This would be on a larger sheet, obviously, and you place it on like so. And what you do is you draw a 2mm line. You can use a piece of card if you want 2mm card. Place it on like that, and then take it up and draw a line down it, and then draw a 2mm line there, 2mm line there, and a 2mm line down the back. So you've got the inside dimensions of the book, like so. I hope you can see that. So you can see I've got 2mm line there, 2mm, 2mm, 2mm. And if it looks a bit misshapen, it's because your book's misshapen. If it's a homemade book, it probably will be. I mean, I've cut this, I've drawn the line around this from this book. So this book, although it looks square, it actually isn't. It's not actually square. And I defy it to any homemade book is not square. Anyway, so that's it. And you'd do 2 of those. You'd make 2 of those, and you cut it to the size, and that would be then ready for you to make the base of the box. And now what we need to do is to cut the sides, and what you do is you find out the top of the box, how high the box is, and this doesn't matter if it's a smidgen higher, because the box can nestle in, and some people like to put little things in the bottom, tissue paper and stuff like that to make it look nice. And what you do is you put the book on something flat like that, put a piece of card on, and it doesn't matter if it's just slightly higher, and you can then cut to the size of the card. So what you'd do is you'd measure up the absolute outside of the card. Like I want to start from this line here, so I would measure up from here and go to the outside of the card, and I would cut it there. So that is now the length of the card. That wouldn't obviously be there, because that would be too long for the book, because that's what we want. You can see where we're going to be. So that this would make the card for the inside of the box, and then you'd have one to put on the outside, but that would be on the inside dimensions of the box. So that would be inside the box, like so, like this. If you can see that. So you've got 2mm there, and you'd have 2mm there short, and then what would happen is that this would go right to the end of the box, like so, and then these would fit nicely on the inside, and another piece on the outside, and another piece on that side, and then that's sufficient to do your box. So you need sort of twice as much as what I've got here to make a box. Starting to make me, just about starting, I've been into it quite a while. I'm just making a drop hinge box for Wendy's book, which is now finished, which is this one. And the only thing different about this, it's got a leather back, which is quite different, really. So I've just took up the dimensions for it, and I've cut out some bits of card, 2mm card, and I'm just gluing in the backs with wheat paste, a mix of 50-50 wheat paste and PVA, polyvinyl acetate, say that when you no teeth. And I'll try not to make this a marathon. I usually do it. You forget what you're doing, and I run out of shot again, as usual. So I'll make sure I get all the edges in, because that's the most important bit. There we are. And I've picked up the backing paper. It's just A4 craft paper, and just lay it on. Give it a bit of press with my little trusty ink folder, ink roller. A bit bendy at the minute, but it'll draw it in. This will draw it straight, and then I'll continue on, and I cut 4 pieces, 2 shorts and 2 longs for the sides and the ends to make sort of a half box. And I'm just gluing in these bits here quick as I can, because I know you're pretty boring watching this gluing up. It's not exactly scintillating doing it. There we go. And this wheat paste and PVA mix give you a little bit of time to glue out and move the things around. And I'll probably only get the 3 sides on, because the last side would fit, but it's a bit too long. It's a bit too long for the paper, so I can't get it in anywhere. It's too short, it's too long for that. The paper's too short for that, and there's not enough width there, so I'll have to do this bit and then do a little bit for the extra bit. And this is just bits of card that I had saved in my box and just cut up for this particular event. So I didn't cut any new card for this. The back piece I cut off as new, but card's getting a bit expensive now. I think I paid quite a bit. Well, it's not expensive, $1.78 a sheet, but you've got to buy it in large quantities now. That's what makes it expensive. You can't just buy a sheet or 2 sheets or 3 sheets for crafting or whatever you want to do. So they expect you're going to do $100 a week or something by the way they want you to buy it. Obviously they want you to buy a lot. So anyway, I'll turn that over, and I'll put my little... There are a few bubbles in this, but it's pretty good. I'm trying not to mark the paper, because this paper will stain with this glue. just leave that for a couple of seconds and I'll do the last one. So it seems a shame I've got to use two sheets to get what I want, but never mind. A, as they say in Yorkshire, never mind, A. It could have been B, but they do say A. I'll just finish gluing this in. There we are, as sparing as possible, and it'll glue up pretty fast. And what I'll do, I'll cut these with the alpha knife to separate them, and then I shall do the rest of the box. Turn that over and give it a quick belt with my knife, my brayer as they call it. And I'll give that a couple of minutes to dry, because if you cut this before it dries properly it will tear the paper. So I'll leave it to dry off for a couple of minutes, and I'll turn off and come back to you. Okay, well, I'm back again, and I'm going to cut these bits and pieces up to the required sizes, and they're now dry, well, dry enough to cut. I've got my trusty little alpha knife, and all I'm going to do is go down and, I don't know if you can see that, go down and slice slice. There we are. If you don't wait for them to dry, you'll find that the paper will tear, and you can cut it with impunity once it's dry, but not if it's wet. And this is what you end up with, the little pieces that require to make the boxes. I'll show you that in a moment anyway, so I'll just continue cutting the ends off. You can mess about and tidy up later on. There we are, nearly finished. I keep forgetting that the camera's on, because I usually hold the camera, and in this case I've got the camera separate and just bubbling away on its own like a kettle, and I forget it's there. So, but these are general reminders for myself of, because I do tend to forget how I do things, and while I can remember, I will till my memory fades, which won't be long. So that's another piece, and the last piece I'll save that piece because that will come in handy for something else. And there we are. There'll be a couple of odds and ends that you might want to finish off with, but generally you get most of it. And I'll just leave it there to dry off absolutely properly, and then you don't have to add any weights to it, but it'll tend to bow in, but that'll come out in the rest of the manufacture when you do whatever you're going to do. So that's going to be that's getting ready for your box. So I'll stop there, and we'll go to the next stage in a moment. Well, here we are again, and move it out of the way. I always forget something. I get everything ready and still forget. So what I'm going to do now is that, from the last one, remember I said it would get really bowed, and they really are really bowed. But don't worry about it. What I do is, yeah, they're really bowed in, because for some technical reason, the thinner the paper, it always bows in a larger section of paper for some reason. It tends to pull it inwards. This is why this is why when you back your books and you put the end papers in, it does that to your books to pull them in. Anyway, I don't want to go on about that at the minute. If they're bowed, and because we're going to put these pieces on top like so, just pull them out slightly. They'll take it. Just pull them out and straighten it. This is going to go on top of something else anyway and be stuck again, so it will straighten it out in any case. So this won't hurt it, as long as you don't stress the paper too much on the outside, the blue paper, which is going to be visible. You can get a relatively good thing, but you see, these pieces will not go on properly if you don't have it relatively shaped. Don't bend the board, just gently shape it until it, I suppose there's other things you can do, but this is what I do. I haven't seen anybody else. They all seem to just get on and do it, and they're not bent, so they must do something, whatever it is. I know this is what I do. So and if you put this thing on the outside, it will bend. And I must pay deference to Sage Reynolds, because all the items that I'm showing you, everything that I do, nominally I get it from Sage Reynolds. I copy what he does, and I think he's a very good mentor, and I've been very satisfied with his teachings. I can't fault him at all, really, except that he hasn't done enough for me. I want more out of him. But he's gone on to making silver now or something, or silver ornaments and things, and I'm still interested in bookmaking. I don't think I'm going to get interested in silver. It's a little bit beyond me. But anyway, I'm very pleased for what he's shown me so far. And there we are. I'm relatively pleased with that. And you go along and you bend these until they've got an approximately flat shape. It's easy to do. It's nothing too technical. And the other thing that you need to do is, because they're going to glue these, we need something to butt them up to so that they'll stay still. I used to have a piece of wood, like a ruler, which was about 1/4 of an inch thick, but I found that it wasn't good enough. So what I use is my trusty board and an F-clamp now. And this board is used for everything. And it's cracked, and I've repaired it and everything. You see where I've repaired the crack. Anyway, I put it on the table like so, and then all I do is put the F-clamp on the end. You only need one, and if you turn it upside down, it's very unobtrusive. Give it a quick tighten up. It doesn't need to be too tight. You're not going to put a lot of pressure on it. And there we are. That's tight enough. There we are. And then you can see that I can put my leave most of the table free, and I can put my piece of card there ready to receive its sides. So I'll make it as flat as I can, and what I'll do then is get one of the pieces before it reshapes itself and put a little bit of glue along the bottom edge, just along one edge. Doesn't have to be a lot, otherwise it'll be a long time drying, and you'll have to wait for it to stick and it'll keep falling over. So there we are. And what you do then is, I usually wipe it away from the back to stop it sticking to my board, and then you place it carefully down make sure that the ends but with the ends on the, you can file these off, but it takes a lot of time. The more careful you are now, the better it'll be. Yeah, and give it a press, and you'll find that this board then, with this about ½ inch height, is very, very good. You can put a bit of pressure on and hold it in. And another little tip I got from Sage Reynolds was, if you try and push the top away now, you'll break the seal. So what he did was he just tapped the bottom here, because it will stick to the board. So you just, I'll just see if I can get a better shot for you there. Yeah. Yeah, you just tap the base here with your fingers and it'll come free. And there we are, and I'll turn it round to do the back end.